action. Hello. Welcome to the Mother Daze podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Teresa Palmer.
And I'm Sarah Wright Olsen. Hi, Daisy.
Woo woo. Yo. What month are we in? Oh, well. Oh my God. Do you know? So today is the 6th of August. This will be coming out later. Do you know on the 8th of the 8th, it's like the Lion's Gate. It's the crazy universe because it's the 8th of the 8th month in
the 8th
2024.
Year.
Yes. And then it's like the 2 + 2 is 4 plus the 4 is 8. Like it's some crazy portal.
8, yeah. So what does that mean? What are we doing?
No, I think we have to just drop all of our wishes into the bucket on that day. And by the time people are listening to this, they're like, God damn it, I missed it.
I know. Wait, does it go on all month or is it only that day?
I think it's that day. Well, someone sent it to me on Instagram and I was like, no, this is cool. Like another day of magical thinking. Although I've been having a complicated relationship with this recently.
I know. Well, me too. So let's talk about it. I mean,
oh my God. Guys, well, everyone knows I'm really big into Reddit. I probably shouldn't tell people too much because it would be very easy to find me and then go back and look at all my posts and be like, that's obviously her. I tried to sort of hide bits of my life, but then I'll realize like I'm splurging so much on Reddit. I'm like, there's no way anyone could ever guess it's me, but still, whatever.
Wait, so what's your username?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you and then be mortified by all my weird posts.
TP kicks butt.
I remember I was a part of the snails thread. I'm no longer. I removed myself from the snails thread. I'm a part of like a lot of kind of paranormal ones.
Oh my God.
But then also like manifesting ones and then IVF ones.
Okay.
So the law of attraction one I'm a part of. Yeah.
Love that.
I read something that felt like a salve to me recently because look, Sarah and I have had a crazy month. So lots of, were there peaks? There were some peaks, mainly valleys. Mainly valleys. Anyway, we've both been going through it. And one of my experiences is, guys, I think I said this to you, how I was having such a like conundrum in life. Like, there's this side of me that's like, I just want to be barefoot and pregnant and living off the land with my babies off grid. Just cooking vegetable soup every day and riding horses bareback. That's like a huge dream of mine, as well as like my travel with my family and all that. Yeah. But then there's the other side of me that when I'm on set and I am immersed in a character, I am just like thriving. I love exploring that part of my artistry. I love it. It feels awesome. Last night, it's really exciting. My film audition that I did with Bruna Papandreou, which if you guys remember back to maybe a year ago, I had manifested working with Bruna again. I'd worked with her on Warm Bodies, and she sent me the script, and it was not the big, huge TV show that I was trying to call in, the American TV show, but it was sort of a more independent Australian film. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, this is really well written. It's a great character. Anyway, cut to I have this experience that's like really life-changing in so many ways. I was forced to face a lot of my own insecurities throughout the making of that film. And it felt really hard, but really rewarding. And I was very proud of the work that I was doing with my director, Marcel. Anyway, we just found out that it got into the Toronto Film Festival, which is so exciting. Oh my God.
By the way, if you don't know a lot about the Toronto Film Festival, It's massive, you guys. It is like everybody hears about Sundance or like Tribeca or Cannes, but like Toronto is some of my most favorite movies have come out of the Toronto Film Festival. It is so awesome.
Yeah, and it's a great place to showcase your film to get distribution, American distribution. So for us to get included as a small Australian film, our director, it's her directorial debut. She's in her 60s. I mean, it's a really beautiful story. Anyway, found that out and I was like, oh my God, what a win. Like, this is so exciting. So I found that out and I was like, cool. So that's something really to look forward to. And last night I watched the movie for the first time and I was in the bath and I watched it and I was really hooked. I was transfixed. I was in it and I was like, the editing is unbelievable. The music is like French cool pop, like all this. Suddenly I'm in a really dope movie, which I never saw myself being in like such a cool festival film. And that is what it is. I'm watching it being like, the way it's been cut together and just like the coolness of the piece is really exciting. So I was sitting in the bath last night and I was like, there is a part of me, and I don't know if I do this for protection or what, but there's that part of me that's like, oh, well, fuck it. Like, my acting career is exciting and I love it and it's great, but I don't put as much stock in it as I used to when I was younger.
Yeah.
But as I was watching this last night, I was like, the truth is, I love it. I love this experience. I love acting. I love it so much. I love being a different character, like diving into someone else and completely like shedding my own skin and like exploring another person. I love it. I just like the vibrancy of that experience fills me up. So to turn my back on it, just being like, whatever, I'm just going to go live off the land. That's not my real truth. And I think some of that comes out of this protective nature that I have where it's like, well, maybe I won't reach my big goals that I have for my career. So I'll just well, I don't really want it anyway. And that's just like an authentic revelation where I'm like, at the beginning of this end of last year, I talked about on the podcast, there was this job that was like the game-changing job, like the biggest opportunity of my entire career that's ever come my way. And I was like, I manifested this opportunity in every way. It was my favorite director. And I was like, this job is mine. This is my job. The character was Australian in the film, an Australian mother. I was like, this is me. Like, in and your audition was
incredible.
I sent it to Sarah.
So good. it was so good.
Oh my God. It was improv. So he does a lot of improv. Anyway, I taped for it and just totally felt my angels with me. I was like, this is my moment. My agent's like, oh, there's this project. I think you might be interested. Cut to the most amazing director in all the land and like my favorite director. So I got to have this opportunity and I taped for it and felt like I smashed it. Like, this is going well. I swear I feel so aligned with this opportunity. I Zoom with him. I have this 2-hour Zoom where it was like, could not get on better, blah, blah, blah. And so, but I knew the process was very long. I knew it was that everyone kept warning me. Sometimes the casting takes 9 months to 12 months. And so it was really the art of letting go, just having to let this opportunity go in my head.
Yeah.
But I felt so like it was mine that I was like, oh, it's coming. Like, it's coming. I'm going to let go. It's coming. Anyway, ultimately I found out and I got written this really beautiful note but it was to the point where my agent was like, right, you're shooting here. It's going to be 3 months. This is when it's going to go. And she was like, she'd been speaking to the producer and like getting all the information. And I was like, oh my God, I've got it. Like, I've got this job and it's going to change my life.
That's insane.
I know. And then I get this phone call being like, we don't know what happened, but basically you know, they went for someone else who I'm a huge fan of, by the way, who is an Australian, who's American. I don't know if she's playing Australian, but I was like, okay, so they've re-envisioned the role and they have a big mega superstar playing this character. That's totally fine. And the fact that I even had a look in was like miraculous. And the fact that I got that far felt amazing. But it was a little bit of a gut punch that I was like, oh my God, I really thought this was mine. Okay, wasn't mine. Cool. Pick myself up. That's okay. Moving on. What happened with my manifesting? Not quite sure, but that's okay. Like I'd been doing tarot cards, all these things like showing me that this is my job, whatever. So let go. Another one of these opportunities just came my way.
Yeah.
Another one. And one of my best, well, two of my very good friends were also testing, one of them for the same role and the other one for a different role. Well, everyone testing for this show in all these different roles were flown to a different part of America. I probably shouldn't give it away yet. Everyone was flown there. And really, we had this old school experience in Hollywood where you know everyone who you're testing against. You all kind of meet up and you see each other and you're sort of, you go into a room and you test and you can kind of hear what each other's doing through the walls. And it was this kind of like survival.
So old school.
It was so old school, but it felt like this survival of the fittest. Like,
yes.
Like, how do you get out of your own way? How do you not get so nervous? And in the lead up to this, I had been told by everyone, including one of the, you know, the main person who's in charge of these, like, we love you for this. Casting was like, this is your role. Like everyone wants this for you. Like this is your role. So throughout the process, I have like in my head, oh, okay, this is my role. I'd also been having that reflected back to me.
But also you were working your butt off consistently, like not like just like, oh, it's my role, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to do my thing. It was like, oh, it's my role and I'm going to work my butt off to prove it every single stage.
Step of the way.
That it's my role. So it's like you were doing above and beyond what I would have done, but you're doing above and beyond like at every turn.
Yeah. Hiring people. I was literally like
over and over and over again. You're right.
Yes, I got this. I'm the right person for this. Yeah. And I worked, Frankie, my baby mama, Frankie, like worked with me on it twice. I then worked with this amazing acting coach who just like we broke down the scripts. We worked for hours on it. I felt it was so in my bones. I was like, I felt so, this is my character. This is my person. I go in there and there's like sort of this weird situation where you go in. We were all so nervous. And luckily one of my best friends was there with me and we were testing for the same role. And we found out the morning of that each other were testing. And we were like, oh my God, at least we're going to have this safe, like loving face to be there, like this sisterhood where we can help each other.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful. Like she went in first and then came out and then she sat and she read with me before I went in. She was like reading the same scene. She just went in. And there was such like a beautiful, there was like no competition. There was such a beautiful uplifting. And Sarah had also taped for this. And her and I sent each other our tapes. And Eric was saying like on, you know, our 100th episode, how just having each other's backs without the cattiness. I mean, we see it in the Olympics right now, like just lifting each other up and rooting for one another. And it was such a beautiful environment where it could have gone in a different direction where all the girls were like eyeing each other off and being like, oh my God, is she going to get it or is she going to get it?
Because it's definitely been like that a lot in the, you know, you'll get that energy put on you before you go in. And then it's like so intense, you know, you're just kind of like carrying the energy of like the uncomfortableness. It's so much better when you like can just
come
like,
together.
Yeah. Just like someone's going to get it.
One of us is going to, we're all nervous. We've already made it so far. Anyway, there was this situation where I had to, I went in and I was like, nailed it, done. Oh my God, this is my job. Like rang my team, like, oh my God. And then I had to go back in the next day because of a technical difficulty. Anyway, I had to basically redo the test.
Oh.
With some, I couple of little notes that I like took on board, and still was like, saw the casting morning of, this is your job. Like, this is your job. Just go in there, have fun. You've already done it. Like, this is yours. Anyway, found out it wasn't mine. That weekend.
Not my job.
It wasn't my job. I had literally planned everything. I was like, all right, we're going to leave on this date. We'll RV to where we're moving to. We did it. Again, another game-changing career opportunity. And then I walked out, but I got this kind of weird download from the universe. By the way, I was like with horses beforehand, like head to head with horses, like give me the strength, like running around with my headphones on, listening to music, being like, universe, like in nature. Like it was hilarious. Like,
but that stuff kind of pumps you up. I mean, that stuff really does put you in the, like, I remember testing for something and like it was set in the 80s. And I can't tell you how many times I listened to the same 80s soundtrack over and over again, like singing every song at the top of my lungs. Like that kind of stuff like helps so much.
Yes. Like set the space, set the tone. I was like, here we go. Anyway, so that weekend, and I had set up, thank God my friend Brooke was in town. She was holding it down she was staying at my house. So she was holding it down with my kids. I just had to leave, and then I had to stay for longer because of this technical difficulty. And then, I was like paying for these people to come to the house to do these activities with the kids. I was like, whatever, spending money, because I was like, I'm about to go like do this opportunity that like I'll never have to even think about money again. This will be amazing, whatever. Anyway, so found out that weekend that I did not get the job, but it was really like, it's either you or this other person. It's you or her, like you're totally different directions. So he could go this direction with you and this direction, and he agonized about it and blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, okay. The news came in, I think on Monday, like this is like 2 weeks ago. And I felt so flat. I had a feeling it was coming. I felt so flat and so just like, how? I did all the things. It was, all the stuff. And I was like flat for 4 days. Happened to coincide with like Sarah feeling flat as well. And we both like together were like, like feeling like these feelings. We were both feeling like, oh God, things just feel shitty right now, right? And then I realized my epiphany, I think, in all of this was that it's so easy to get carried away with when this outcome happens, then things will change. Then like everything will crack open. And as someone who teaches manifesting at times, I realized I can go back and look at my patterns, and I had put so much stock in both of these experiences that I kind of got in my own way, because it was like, if I get this, then the chain reaction is all these things. I had 3 days of feeling flat. And then after that, I kind of woke up and I sprung out of bed and I was like, I already have everything I need. I don't need any of these other things. I have healthy children. I have a beautiful career. I have like a loving marriage and the best friends and this incredible endeavor with my podcasting. And I just had this really deeply healing conversation with my manager where I was able to be, earlier this year, I was able to be very vulnerable and honest and say like, I need a new dynamic. I need to feel like celebratory. I want us to feel celebratory of the successes. And in life, so many times we move the bar. We just keep moving the bar further and further. I'll be happy when. Success looks like this when. It just like dawned on me that, oh, this was the greater lesson in all of this. Had I just gotten that job, I wouldn't have got the gift of the presence and the gratitude and I already have everything. I don't need this. I'm not coming from a place of lack. And so I have to say that even though it was painful, and these experiences can be painful, like my pregnancy loss earlier this year, painful, things feeling painful. it's always when we're in this place of the discomfort that actually you learn the greatest gifts. And our guest, Jessica Alba, talked about that during her podcast episode. And it really like rung true for me this past week, that this collection of experiences have been for the greater good.
Yeah, she said something like, you can't grow unless you experience like pain or setback or, you know, the hardship. And she's so right. Like, you know, we talk about that, and then it's hard to see that until you actually like are going through it or have gone through it or whatever. And I remember you like talking to me about this like magical thinking and just being like, oh, it's like really tough sometimes. Like the idea of, you know, you're really like trying to believe in all the things that we believe in, right? And we're putting this stuff out into the world. And, you know, as I've sort of like tried to like slowly navigate my way through the magical thinking world and spirituality, I said this to you, but like I've always kind of had this feeling of like, you know, it's this or whatever is for the greater good, you know, or for the greater good of like our family, or yes, like this is the dream. This is the thing. This is what I've been calling in. Like, this is it. And it's so amazing. And also, if this, you know, is not what we're supposed to be doing, or if like the universe or my angels are like, you know, whatever, sees something that I don't, like, then I'm also open to that being okay, you know? And so I've always felt that way. And I don't know if that's right. I know we've talked about that with a couple of different like manifesting experts, but like, you know, it's hard for me to blindly say like, this is what I'm calling in. This is what I want. Like, this is it, without but also like, there's so much that I don't know. Like, so I would love to like throw myself out into the wind, but also know that the universe is going to catch me however that ends up, right? It's like, if it's so yes, true. I get the job. If it's yes, the baby's coming now. If it's yes, like, you know, whatever that you know, whatever the circumstance.
I left this message to Sarah the other day and I was like, you're just so good at this. You're so good at the trust, like the let go and the trust. I like to think that I'm good at the let go and the trust. But then I was saying like my magical thinking clashes up against the little naysayer or the little like, you know, like the little reality police that comes in. I'm like, oh, I hate that word, the reality. But my truth is my inner monologue is saying something different to what my magical thinking is. My magical thinking believes anything is possible. You can call anything in. Any dream is attainable. And then the little side of me comes in and it was like, but, and then it was a process having to look at these opportunities that I could taste them. They were so close, runner up 2 times and huge life-changing or whatever. Well, of course, that's the expectation.
All in the same year. All in the same year.
Yeah, it was so close. I could literally like sniff it. I was
this is an interesting year for us. We've been saying
both of us.
Yeah.
This year has been pretty polarizing in many ways. And also my greatest, I said to Sarah the other day on the phone, I was like, we're going to be total spiritual gurus after this year. I was like, oh my God, lesson after lesson after lesson. But it's just, I think giving myself a break of like the swinging pendulum between the magical thinking and then also the like, but these are the practical steps in which, and I do think the inspired action is such an important part of this. And when I went onto my Reddit thread, my manifesting thread, law of attraction, someone had posted that they had just lost this dream job. And another person, and I was thinking, oh my God, the same thing just happened to me. And someone else reflected back on that person's post and said, I can even tell through your writing that there was such an attachment to this job. And I was like, that is exactly, I had such an attachment. And that's one of the biggest parts of the law of attraction, is like really being able to sever the attachment, or make peace with, this is the thing that I'm calling in, but I'm okay where I am. And it's not from a place of lack. So beautiful sort of manifesting lesson for me, and just a great life lesson. And also, I feel so happy right now. Like in my life, this was meant to be. The outcome was meant to be. The universe had my back. I've had the most incredible time living in this house, being with my family, watching my husband thrive in his role as a director right now, and spending time with my bestie, Sarah. We had the dreamiest of dreamy days the other day with our kids and the beach, and just all these little interactions, and watching these children grow up alongside each other, and seeing the way that all the little personalities sort of interweave with one another. It's family. That is what it is. It is family. And those experiences are things that I only dreamt of having in my life. And now this is my life. This is my reality. Yeah. And as someone said so beautifully when we were on tour this year with Rachel and Olivia, someone was like, my mom always reminds me that like, you are living in your dream right now. Yeah. Like this was your dream. This is your dream. You're living in it. And I was like, oh, mic drop.
Well, Winter, the other day, Sonia was telling me, Sonia's our amazing nanny, who's also a doula and just like a beautiful person.
We love her.
We love her. And she was telling me that they were playing some game, and Winter grabbed her by the face and she goes, this is your dream. Life it. And she goes, she did. And she goes, you mean live it? Like live it? And she goes, this is your dream. Live it.
Oh my God.
And Sonia was like, okay.
I am.
My little spiritual guru. So hearing you say that is really funny.
She's such a little, we call her our little witch.
She is such a
Winter, our little witch.
So I want to go back really quick, because there was this moment that I wanted to interrupt you, but I also wanted you to like finish your thought, where you were talking about being in the bath and thinking about just like, your work and how much you love work. And then also how sometimes you just want to be on the farm. And I think after being your friend for however many years it is that we've been friends, and I do this too, but I think you have a beautiful gift, which is that you can be really happy and content and so overjoyed and filled up in what your present moment is. So if that's like you're living in Malibu for like a month, you're like, this is it. This is the dream. This is what I've always wanted. Like, I want to live here and be here. But if you're in like Byron, like you can have those same feelings. And if you're on set, you can have that feeling. And if you're like homesteading for 2 months, you can have that feeling. And like, how cool is that? Like, that's not something where you're like hiding true feelings about something. That's just the fact that you're this kind of person that can put her 2 feet in a situation and be very present and grounded and in it and say, this is my joy. And it is. It's because you have built this beautiful foundation of a relationship and children and life, so that like, no matter if you're in a job that is, by the way, you've had jobs that are not your favorite job with people, producing or directing or whatever it is who have been really difficult. And yet you still find a way to make it like, this is something I'm learning from and growing from. And it's a beautiful experience. And like, you know, and then you don't get the dream job. And then all of a sudden it's like, but I'm also like so happy right here. And I think just like reflecting that back to you, that's something to say, like, it's not about your, you know, not thinking that you're ever going to have that, like, you know, dream of a career, by the way, which you already have, or like, you know, just like whatever it is. And you are standing in these beautiful places in every moment. That's part of your like gift of who you are. And so when I look at you, I'm like, God, she's so happy and in it and joyful in all of these situations, you know?
Oh, that's so sweet. I don't know if you ever do this. I'm sure you do. But, you know, obviously Sarah and I have been talking about wanting to get pregnant again. And that like sends me into like an eye photos. Like I will go back to the newborns and like look at them all.
They're
and
all
just
so little.
They're just so tiny.
God,
and then think, I'm telling you, if you are a new mom, when people say to you, it's going to go so fast, let me tell you, it's true. It goes so fast. And when you're in it, you feel like the days are very, very long, but the years are so fast. And I look back on like, Prairie's about to be 3.
I know.
I look back on her as a newborn and I'm like, this went in the blink of an eye. And I got this like melancholia. Like last night I was like, oh, thinking about it, like, this season of my life is going so fast and I can't imagine a season being any better. And I'm sure it will only grow and like, you know, life is expansive and all those things. You know, one day I'll be a grandparent and one day all that. But having little children and raising them with my best friends is like heaven on earth.
It's heaven. It really is.
I know.
So dreamy.
It's the best. It is the best. I cannot imagine it getting any better. And yet my kids are just getting older and older and older.
And so are we. I mean,
so are we.
Next month, I'm going to be 41. I was actually thinking about this. I was like, it has been an interesting year. It has had its moments, some growth moments. I always thought like, oh, the year I turned 40, it's going to be the best year of my life. By the way, it's been an amazing year. And I don't know if I've ever felt like happier, more in love, like full of like so many beautiful things of my like children and family and work and all the things and podcasts. Oh my God. But also there's been, you know, really like challenges, like with the loss and like, you know, there's been stuff and some of it harder than others. So it's like, you know, I'm going, well, maybe 41 is the time. The good news is I'm very positive and hopeful at every turn. And I always think like, I opened this like, I was at like a softball game and they had bazooka gum and I opened the bazooka gum and inside of it, there's always like a fortune or like a comic or whatever. Yeah. And the fortune was like, you know, is so and so said after every failure, there's always like, you know, this like beautiful chance to rise again. And so I'm like, that's how I always feel, you know, is like, thanks, bazooka.
Oh my God.
I always feel like there's always another chance. There's always another moment. And I had like, you know, a bit of a challenging like week, like a week ago. And on this day when I was feeling particularly like down, I got an email in my inbox and it was from my agent, my writing agent, who I love so much. I love you, Abby. And she was like, hey, there's 2 publishers that are super interested in your new book. And so I just wrote a story I worked on it, over this year. And it was just like out of the blue that she wrote me. And I was just like, wait, what? And I was so excited. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Because it's like something that I'm not ready to talk about yet, but it's something that I is so deeply special to me, this topic. And so I'm really excited to be able to share that with you guys at some point as it all unfolds.
And it's amazing. You guys heard us talking about this on the podcast where she had this idea for this thing. And I was like, and she was like, do you want to do it with me? I was like, you've already done it. Like, it's already there. It's like, I was like,
are you sure you don't want to do it with me?
And I was like, wait, there's nothing for me to do. This is yours. This is your journey, your story. Go and fly with it. And she's flying. She's more than flying. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So anyway, and then I have been, I did my IVF. I had that experience.
Tell us about
funny
that.
experience with Mark and the sperm and anyway. And the happy ending was that we got 2 embryos out of that, which is great from my early eggs. And then my now eggs, I'm very sensitive, like Sarah, very, very sensitive to medication and drugs. And I had let my doctor know, like, FYI, like, less is more with me. Anyway, I ended up having 2 very dominant follicles, which we basically had to sacrifice because they got too big and he wanted the rest of the pack to kind of catch up. And the injections were great. Like, anyone who's looking down the barrel of this, they do not hurt. They do not. I've had I had a trigger shot, when I went through my crazy, when I was trying to get pregnant with my second baby, and Mark was in rehab at the time, and I tried to get pregnant with IUI while he was in there, and I used a trigger shot. That was so painful. None of these shots were painful. The needle was so teeny tiny. But I got, I had bruises on my tummy, and I just got into my routine. The first night I had to sort of figure it out. And then I just got into my routine of doing it and taking all the things that they told me that I had to take, like DHA and blah, 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 all the things. And I just got into this routine. I did it. And, I was going to these scans, and I could just tell that my body was sort of overreacting to this. And so going into the egg retrieval, I was not very optimistic. I thought at the very best we would get 5, but maybe we would get 3 eggs because of kind of what happened during the cycle. But guys, it's so expensive. It is so expensive. We do not have insurance. We're paying out of pocket.
Does insurance even cover any part of that?
There are some insurances that will.
What insurance is that? I've literally never heard of that.
It's I wouldn't even be able to tell you the name of it. But on my Reddit thread for IVF, there are women who will actually go and work at Starbucks or Amazon.
What?
15 hours a week just to get the health insurance to be able to cover IVF.
Whoa.
Yeah. So whoever insures Amazon and Starbucks,
you guys are amazing.
Good for you, because there are a lot of women who are coming to work to get the insurance, and then they can pay for IVF.
That's amazing.
But I don't think there's a lot of insurers that will do IVF anyway. So we're paying out of pocket. It's such a large amount of money. And so I was like, all right, I'm only going to give this one shot and let's just see. And they say that you need 3 embryos for 1 baby. And in my situation, the whole reason I'm doing this isn't a fertility reason. It's because of this isoimmunization medical problem that we have. So our doctor wants us to put 2 embryos in to try and guarantee that, we're basically more bang for our buck, which is less pregnancies, more babies. So then I kind of recently was in my head about, out of that round, I got 1 more healthy embryo. I only got 4 eggs. I was a little bit disappointed, but from the 4 eggs, 3 fertilized and then 2 made it to blastocyst. And there's such a drop-off rate in IVF. And then I was like, there's no way I'm not going to have any healthy babies, because then they get tested to see if they're healthy. And I had got 1 more healthy baby. So I've got 3 healthy embryos on ice. But then this is where my magical thinking and my like other side kind of clash, where I thought, well, that really only gives me 2 shots at this. And should I bank embryos now at my age, like go 1 more round so that I have more opportunity? I might only get 1 more, and then then do the transfer. So now I'm in this predicament where I'm like, do I transfer now or do I do it just 1 more time and bank? Because I probably don't have another shot at this, given there's no way I could get pregnant and then if I wanted another kid, go through IVF again, and because of our medical issue. So this is my last shot at doing this. And, you know, I had said out loud the other day, I was like, my husband's kind of on the fence. He's like, let's just transfer. Maybe let's not transfer now because I'm about to go do a job in Australia. Maybe transfer at the beginning of the year. And I'm like, I don't think that's the right timing. Maybe it's better now. Anyway, so we've been going back and forth. And then I was like, I think I want to try again at this other clinic that is cheaper, an overseas clinic. And my husband was like, we might not get anything. And then we're just wasting money. And then I said out loud, this was yesterday, wasn't it? I was like, I just need X amount. And we were owed some money from our rental. Mark only thought it was like a couple of grand. Mm-hmm. And I got the email expecting the couple of grand. And it was, he somehow missed this, but it was like exactly to the amount that I out loud put out to the universe. If I could
this
just
is
get
what
this,
I need.
This
Mm-hmm.
is what I need. And then that would be my answer and I'll do it again. We get the email being like, this is going into your bank account. This is what was left over. And my jaw was agape. I was like, universe, you are showing up for me. What? Rang Sarah. I was like, oh my God, Sarah. Rang my other best friend, Annabelle. Was like, oh my God. So that was like a little win in this. And I hope will help inform the decision. But obviously it's not just me making the decision. It's also my husband. So
I love it when you use that voice. Do you guys also love hearing Tez use that voice? It always makes me laugh. You like that voice with Susie sometimes, and
me and Susie. Wait till our podcast comes out.
Oh my God,
they run the night.
So
the whole thing, we're talking like this so much. Anyway, her and I do like full DMs where we're doing that voice. It's so crazy. I need to name the character.
Good, yeah. You need to name her.
I need to name the alter ego. Oh no! And sometimes people just ask me to do it. Yeah, it's like an afraid, like older voice.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's not just me.
Anyway, so anyway, that's my update, and I will have more for you guys, because you're wonderful listeners and you feel like friends.
I know,
you really do. You feel like our friends.
We'll have so much more for you.
So much more
in the coming months, y'all. And by the way, okay, so when this episode comes out, my son, my oldest, will be turning 11 tomorrow. So happy birthday. And that means that Esme would have turned, 8 by the week before, because their birthdays are August 9th and 16th.
And then winter's only a couple weeks later, right?
I know. The 15th. It's that like harvest season for me. I just
it's like right
hunker
when
down.
That's when you like having your babies. Prairie and Wyatt are 1 day apart. So Prairie's about to be 3.
I know.
But when I'm in Australia, it's really cute because his birthday is the 16th and hers is the 17th.
Yeah.
So we celebrate at the same time.
I
which
know.
is
it's
really
so
cute.
Yeah. No, and Marisha, she's the amazing herbalist who came on our show, and she has this like course coming up that you can still sign up for, by the way, guys. It's
which I think you should do, Sarah.
Yeah, School of the Sacred Wild. And it's so amazing. But she talked about how like so many women in like villages, like back in the day, used to get pregnant during this time when there was like plenty of food and it was like harvest season. And I was like, that's just me. Like,
that is you.
I would have been one of those women in the village.
So when is that? Is that like November pregnancy, or when do you usually get pregnant to give birth in August?
I do think it's sometime between... It's October, November. Yeah.
Like October, end of November in the, interesting.
I know. So interesting. Anyway, well, guys, thanks for joining us today for our mashup of convos, which we always do.
And people love a solo. I love how much people love a solo.
I know. Same. Well, we always, and it's always like whatever we're dealing with in the moment, right? It's like stuff that's going on right now, stories we have to tell. I'm sure there's a lot of stories from the summer that we just like haven't even shared yet that are funny and ridiculous.
Like your amazing foster dog.
Oh my God. Yes. I'll have to give you my foster dog update on the next solo, and also my Milky's update with Winter on the next episode. Yes, which is so
the next
crazy.
One. That's too cute.
All right. Well, we love you guys. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Bye, Daisy.
Bye, Daisy.
Bye. And bye, Mom. I love you.
Oh, cute.
She listens to every episode.
Oh,
I love you, Mom. And hi,
shout out. We love you.
Okay,
Debs.
bye.
Bye.